Good evening, everyone. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here given your busy lives. Our campaign has always been about the idea for a reality of engaging people, the empowerment of people, and we welcome everyone to join our movement to bring about positive, progressive change to the 1st District and the BVI. Even though this is an early elections, throughout this campaign, we have been paying homage to my late father as he was the longest serving representative of the 1st District and Chief Minister 5 terms in the BVI. There is no way I can ever fill his shoes. He was truly one of a kind. However, I can certainly follow in his footsteps based on the teachings and the lessons that he passed down to me. I humbly stand here before you for the chance and the opportunity to follow in those footsteps. But because of what my father taught me, I realize that we are now at a moment in our history that calls for great transformational change and a vision fair for all. That environment of fairness was once ours throughout the BVI, but today, politicians have taken that away. It is time for us to take it back. You see, when my father served the BVI, it was by his actions with the country and the people in mind that he brought about change. H. Laverty realized we needed change, and he brought about electricity to these islands. H. Laverty knew we needed change and led the way in building our road from West End to Road Town. H. Laverty understood we needed change and created the first telephone system. And H. Laverty knew, for sake of our future, we needed to bring about change, and he created the community college, which now bears his name. So while others want to talk about comparing themselves to my late father, I am here to tell you that their talk is cheap. I lived and learned from H. Laverty that to bring about change, you can't just talk about it, you have to go and make change happen. On this 2015 campaign trail, especially house to house, there have been a number of rumors, propaganda being spread by opposing sides, and I will take this opportunity to clear the air once and for all. Rumor number 1. The reason you don't see him around in the district is because he is off island at a rehabilitation center recovering from alcohol and drug abuse. People, that is absolutely false. I have never attended rehab for abuse of any substances whatsoever. Rumor number 2. One opposing candidate is telling the 1st District voter, to confuse the voter, that we are on the same political party and that they are running in the district and that I am running at large, and that the voter must vote for them in the district and vote for me at large. Another lie. I stand before you here tonight as an independent candidate contesting the 1st District and will be nominated as such tomorrow, May 22nd, 2015, God spare life. Rumor number 3. He has disappeared for 3.5 years. Ladies and gentlemen, another misconception. Since last elections, I have attended every community meeting. I currently sit on the Smugglers Cove Committee, being involved in several district cleanups to help maintain the cleanliness of our district. I've been to almost every funeral since last elections in support of families that have lost a loved one. maintain an honest day's work like regular folk as an FSC approved director of a trust company, and last but certainly not least, legal guardian and main caretaker of my mother, former First Lady Hilda Stoutt. My family would rather look after the needs of our mother and ensure that she is comfortable and at peace in her own home rather than subject her to a senior citizen's home. Clearly, these rumors and propaganda are an assault on my personal integrity and credibility, which I have all right to defend. As my late father would bellow, this is utter nonsense. It is rubbish.
Yep, absolutely. Just like that. Just like that.
Needless to say, as a fact, I have never, and I say never, been investigated for money laundering by any international agency, nor have I ever switched my allegiance from one political party ideology to another in very short time. I stood before you as an independent candidate in 2011, and again I stand before you tonight as an independent candidate now in 2015. My integrity and credibility are both stable and in good order. People of the First District, we are already aware of the condition of what we call home for the past 16 years. All district representatives throughout the entire territory having access to $125,000 per year, which is $500,000 over a 4-year period, with whether you're on the ruling side or on the opposition. We as a people in the First District should see some sound improvements in the district. How have these district funds been spent for the betterment of the entire First District community?
Only a few.
We have also been hearing about a new vision for the district during this 2015 campaign. However, this vision is not so new, as I outlined this vision already in 2011 elections through direct consultation with the people as an independent candidate in the district, both on the rostrum and in written format. So now, we turn to the need for changes both at the local and national level. I'll just elaborate on a number of issues and parts of the district. The first one being the ferry dock. The Western Ferry Terminal, ladies and gentlemen, has got to be by far one of the busiest ports of entry. Yes, we have the airport, and yes, we have Rotown Ferry Dock. What we find, because I actually work in the short-term rental business, most tourists that come to the island, it is expensive to fly in to our airport at Beef Island. So they rather fly in to St. Thomas, neighboring St. Thomas, and coming in. Now, that is just the tourists. For us that actually live here, that go and shop in St. Thomas, we must understand there's a tremendous amount of traffic that goes through there. So as an imperative priority, that Western Ferry Terminal will need to be tackled. And with your support and being elected to the First District, I will ensure that is a priority for us all. The beautiful village of Carrot Bay. There are a number of issues that affect that area. One being the fisherman's dock, which we understand a contract has recently been signed for the building of such. Is this really going to come to fruition, or is this a campaign gimmick? Is yet for us that live here to see. The land reclamation, as I mentioned before, has potential as a fishing and farmers market. At this time, that area is just utilized only one time out of the year during the August festival. It is imperative, the whole idea is to build commerce and actually engage young and old to be involved in commerce. Whether it's the fishermen, the farmers. In this district alone, we have 6 to 7 historical sites, all of which are overgrown, all of which are not being featured. These can be a highlight within the district from Windy Hill all the way down to Smuggler's Cove if they're properly cleared and shown to the tourists and also for our benefit as well. In Carrot Bay, we're currently having roads being laid. That, again, is close to election time. I do see, however, that can possibly pose a problem. There might be some flooding, as I've seen, that once it's laid, the seawalls, where there's water supposed to be let out, it's not, those have been blocked up. So that has to be reassessed. The infrastructure, that's part of the infrastructure. The seawall stretching from Carrot Bay all the way down to Sugar Mill. That also needs to be addressed. And with your support and voting for me this election 2015, I will see to it that that infrastructure will be addressed. Over in West End, Mount Peebles, another land reclamation. Again, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about commerce, commerce, commerce. Engaging the people of the area. Not just simply for a job, but also for entrepreneurship and also for ownership. That area there across from the police station, if properly assessed, you can have an environmental impact assessment and see if any of that area would be affected. You can stretch and spread some of that actual mountain of a dirt all the way down. And ladies and gentlemen, you can have a very nice development there next to the basketball court and existing park. The whole idea is for small businesses to be involved, and so much so that you have commerce going on that you don't need to even come to Road Town to conduct business.
Absolutely.
The overall appearance of our district. I mean, we were once the pride of the Virgin Islands. This district was immaculately clean. At this point in time, we have derelict vehicles, we have derelict boats, and the pollution, and there's garbage everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, I propose and I pledge, if elected in this 2015 election, that we would have cleanup campaigns on a constant basis. Not to keep the district clean for visitors, but also for ourselves, and to restore the pride that we once had in the first district.
Absolutely.
And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, the youth. Ladies and gentlemen, I firmly believe, as a people, me being of middle age, we must respect those who came before us, and we must respect those who come after us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, education is a key and foundation for any society. We have a number of youths in our district. Some have passed high school, some have not. The fact of the matter is, they are not waiting for the occasional bush cutting job. That does not help them, that does not sustain them, ladies and gentlemen. What they're looking for is a constant, steady paying job. Don't mind the noise that they're lazy and they don't want to work. If you actually sit down and speak with them, you would be surprised that they want to have a steady job to sustain themselves. Another option, and I've spoken to a few about it, being that we are a British dependent territory and have access to a UK passport, and some the US, there is that option for our youth to even broaden their horizons, even beyond the technical vocational school that is in existence, that they can actually go away and serve in the military service. That doesn't necessarily mean that we want our youth and loved ones on the battlefield. There are many other occupations that they can fulfill and accomplish under military training, which, as we all know, is far above civilian training. So going through that training and returning home and being an asset to this district and to the BVI. For far too long, our government has been a part of a system that creates electricity that is killing our environment and killing our pocketbooks. We're not just paying higher rates because of a lack of competition, but our environment, our natural resources are being lost all because we have a government that is unwilling to adapt. Before my 2011 campaign released its plan to improve our environment and bring about a new supply of energy, you never once heard those in government today mention the words alternative or renewable energy. This campaign is now proud to have shed light on the issue and bring about awareness so that there's more discussion on this subject among the people. Well, while my father brought electricity to the BVI, I want us to now harness the sun, the wind, and the water to bring clean energy to each and every BVI lander at affordable rates. With the plan I created, almost 6 years of study and research, we can create an energy supply where in some cases you, the consumer, may even be able to earn money by selling your stored supply back to the BVI Electricity Corporation. Now you will have the power, you will be in control, you won't have your light cut, and you won't have to stand in lines to pay your bill. And you, the people of the district and wider BVI, will be saving our environment, not the government. Consumer protection. As this relates to everyone here in the BVI, there are many people in the district that this affects. And where have those who are in government been where it comes to protecting the consumer? Government has done nothing when it comes to our rising food costs, rising energy prices, rising rents, and the stranglehold that the banks have on each and every one of us. Instead of departure fees have been increased to discourage shopping in St. Thomas. How are our families supposed to get ahead when they pay top dollar for simple necessities such as bread, milk, cereal to feed their children, or when they pay high interest rates along with illegal banking fees that keep them in debt forever? Well, we're going to change all that. I was the first to highlight this in 2011 campaign, and again will be the candidate in this campaign to stand up to food retailers, the energy company, and the banks. I am not afraid to take them on, and neither should you. We're going to increase competition in the territory so that no longer will the few be able to control cost. It will be the market forces driven by the consumer that will determine cost. We're going to bring in a more progressive bank that understands the people's needs, bring in credit unions that will be owned by you, the people. You will have a voice in the banking industry, and you will prosper and benefit from its success. That is the kind of change that this current government and special interests are afraid of. Some improvements have been made in education for the past few years. However, there's an important factor that is still missing. Consumer education needs to be at the forefront in our education system so that the students learn about real life lessons, such as entrepreneurship, credit and debt, which in actual fact is pretty much the same thing, credit cards, mortgages, ensure that they are well aware of the parasitic businesses and business practices that can entrap them for a lifetime. We need to make sure that when a child graduates from school in the BVI, they are fully prepared to become a productive citizen and get a good paying job. And with all these issues, it's funny how my opponents will not come before you and debate them with me so you can judge for yourselves. The newspapers have questioned whether they're both scared, or maybe they're just afraid of being exposed to the facts of the issues. The minds of the BVI Islanders from the moment they walk in the door as a young child and until they graduate from an institute of higher learning, they should be well-rounded to face reality. We're going to improve the standards of technology in the classroom. Since the H. Lavely Stoutt Community College has to purchase new computers every 2 years, we can simply do this by making use of the very same used computers from the college to outfit the high school, the primary schools, and even the community centers to boost after-school programs. Reduce the size of the classroom so that students receive more personal attention from their teacher. Offer specialized college courses that put BVI Islanders in competition for top salary jobs here in the BVI. And when a child graduates from high school, they will walk out of their school with their head held high and with the confidence to face their pursuit of becoming productive adults. So that brings us, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight. It is why I have invited you here. This campaign and election cycle is like no other than we had before. We now have just 12 days left to make a difference, to make a change happen, to proceed and chart a more holistic path that takes into account the entire picture and not just part of the puzzle. And as always, we're going to continue to run our race and lead the way, just like we have on creating clean energy jobs, the environment, consumer protection, and education. Improved tourism through highlighting our culture and heritage with sound target marketing in untapped international regions such as Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't even advertise in Canada. I have colleagues that live in Canada and do not see absolutely one advertisement for the BVI. And it is unbelievable that Canada has several flights flying into neighboring St. Thomas, neighboring St. Martin. And, you know, if we had a national airline, I know people are pushing for redoing the airport, but the cost factor and cost-benefit analysis on that will cost us generations to come. But for the rest of this campaign, we're going to do something about that. Because now is the time for us to stand up, fight for the working families of our community. You see them every day. Many of you are here tonight. They're the people that are struggling paycheck to paycheck, month after month, just to provide for their families. But getting our government to work for us should never be this hard. Throughout this campaign, you have heard a lot of the same old politicians and some newcomers asking for your vote and telling you not to vote for their opponent. Well, this campaign, ladies and gentlemen, wants to earn, and I say earn your vote, respectfully, to look you in the eye and tell you exactly where I stand. To let you know that there is an alternative to the failed ways of our current government, officials, and broken system. And if we work together in these final days of this campaign, the First District can lead the way in bringing about the change that we all need and deserve and restore the pride that we once knew. I, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your support And I ask you to join with me tonight. Let's make June 8th the day we change the 1st District and the BVI for the better. If we take care of the BVI will take care of us. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.